Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Saturday, November the 11th. This is the weekend webinar. An eventful market this week, particularly on Friday when we broke out of a consolidation that basically took a week to develop. And you can see how all week the S&P held above that 50-day moving average and then spiked and broke out on Friday. The declining top line was taken out the week before last, and so was the 50. And then it spent 3 or 4 days consolidating. Now, Thursday was a pretty good pullback. Notice how it held and then popped out. Up 1.56%, 67.89 on the S&P 500. At this point, my targets are about 44.90 and 45.40, and we'll see if we can extend that. And the key support would be Thursday's low, in my opinion. On the 43.43, thereabout would be would show vulnerability and maybe a lower level. But at this point, with 5 waves down, a big surge that was up 7 or 8 days in a row, and then one pullback day, and then boom, we go up again. Very, very impressive showing. What about the Nasdaq 100? Well, there's the NDX looking similar. And it was up every day for the last, let's say, 10 days in a row, then down 1 and up. Big down. Friday up 2.25%. We closed right at the September snapback high, which was 15,619, and we closed at 15,529. So about 90 points off that high. So we get through that. If we do get through that, that would be for an extension to retest the July high, which would be up around 15,932. That would be my projection. And of course, Thursday's low, also an indicator that they may have a deeper retrace if we take out 15,170. What about the other indices? Well, the transportation index, way, way different. 5 ways down in a rally, but a V bottom and a right-handed extended platform, all in all bullish. Yet this did not break out to confirm the Dow theory about a confirmation of the indices with the transportation breaking out. That would take 15,555. So we've got 130 points to go in the transportation just to confirm a breakout. But then you have the major declining top line. Still, the V bottom of the platform is promising. My target's going to be 15,200 or 15,150 in that zone for starters if we do make a move out and up. IWM, the weakest of the lot. You can see how it came down for 4 days in a row until Friday, bouncing on Friday near support at the gap. But this is a must hold in my opinion. Friday's low of 166.79 would be important to hold. And then your target is the declining top line, the internal trend line, and declining 50-day moving average, all around the 174. So a lot of work to do for the small caps, which are trailing. Let's look at the underlying indicators. The McClellan oscillator bounced, but is not overbought. It did get up to +1, and this is the biggest reading we've seen in a while, 179. Highest reading since way back here in April, early April. Actually, March 31st when we hit 182. So 7-8 month high in the oscillator before the pullback, and notice that it held right about 0, -13 to be exact, closed +44.7. Not overbought. And the percentage of stocks above their 40 improved to 43%, but it was at one point high at 54%, so that's pulled back a little bit. Still a nice double bottom with a pop in this index. We don't get overbought until we get into the 70s and 80s. What about the VIX? Well, certainly a big, big drop after getting up to 23. A drop all the way down to 14. Pretty amazing pullback, and a very quick one at that. And we're not in a range yet until we get down. And if you look at where this was earlier, way back in here, this thing reached down in single digits quite a few times. So I'm not saying we go there, but we still have room to drop further. Let's look at the underlying technicals. What about the major components? And this will be impressive. Look at Apple. After a big run up, now let's just take traces for a moment. In January 3rd, Apple was 124. By July, it was 194, 70 points. From that point, from 94 to 165, about 29 points. So we had a nice fib retracement of about 0.375 in a 5-wave decline. In the breakout, breakthrough, moving averages cross over and turnover, and now we had a big day on Friday. The challenge is to get over 190. Once you do that, you're in business for a run at that high, near 197. So that's what we're looking at on Apple. The 3-day lows were about 181. That's support. Amazon did well, right up against a triple top. We get through here, we're looking at a run to 160.65, which would be huge for the market. Let's get through here first, though, and take out 145-ish. High was 145.86, so through that, you're looking at a much bigger move and perhaps big stuff for the market. Google, not as strong. You can notice that it had a big drop with 2 gaps and plunged from 141 down to 121 before recovering to 134, about a 0.618 fib retracement. To fill the gap at the moving average, this is resistance. Next week, you want to see Google not break down under, I would have to say, this line here, Friday's low. If we can hold 130.30.5, I'll be pleased. If we can get up above 134.5, then I'd be looking for 140.41 and above. Not as strong as the others. When you look at Amazon and Apple. But that's not all, folks. MSFT more than made up for that with a all-time high. Look at that move. Just since September the 28th, when it was 308, 309, we went up to 369, 60 points, and made a new all-time high ever on Microsoft. Very solid performance there. And Nvidia recovered nicely. And if they're spiking down and breaking down and stopping some people out, it got down to 392 and then ripped to 484. We're talking, 92 points, 20% rally in Nvidia in 2 weeks. Pretty impressive, not a surprise. This head and shoulder pattern did break for a day and immediately reversed right there with a bullish reversal day and a follow through as well. So next stop for Nvidia, a retest of the all-time high at 505, I believe it is, 502 3/4. Through that, you're rocking and rolling. What about Netflix? Well, it's been a laggard, but not lately. Take a look at that breakaway gap, retest, and a strong surge. Netflix up 1130 or 2.6%, and up against this multiple tops here. You can see that if we do get through 453, we're inviting a spike up that takes Netflix 485. So a 30-point run through if we can get through. And you can see how the declining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline ended in a spike down and then a reversal with a big breakaway gap on big volume. I believe that was earnings. In any case, Netflix certainly has recovered dramatically, and but it does have some resistance just ahead. Meta, sorry, yeah, there you go, much better. Meta's up against a triple top, all-time highs in the 330 range. I'm sorry, that's not all-time highs. Let's say 2-year highs. The all-time highs up here at 383.4 range. Okay, so we got room to run up to that level, but we'll start with resistance at about 352, my next target, if we get through here. Really nice action on that one too. Now, so recovered. You can see how the inverse head and shoulders is developing, but Tesla has work to do. This has to get up into and through the gap, meaning once above 230.31, you can test key secondary resistance at 241. That 10-point gap there is important. Beyond that, it's 254.5. Not as strong as of the others, that's for sure. So let's move on from those and take a look at some of the major ETFs that I follow closely. Look at the SMH. Now, semiconductors are leading after a 5-wave decline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very distinct. Reversal, breakaway gap, run up the resistance, stall, and then break through. The highest we reached since August was 157.63. Friday's high, 157.67. So we're right there and in jeopardy of the all-time high around 161. That's your next target. A break through that would be significant. Only 4 points away. Financials improving. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline to a key support back in March. An exact double bottom and a breakaway and now a flag. Very impressive. If that's a left shoulder ahead and this is a weak right shoulder, or even if it's a V bottom with a platform, we should see 64. And if we get through that, 69 is a big resistance level as well, but much better than it had been. Now the weak sister right now is biotechs. Look at this. You would think that this would be a lot better than it is. So, biotechs in a bear phase always underperform because a lot of that is future. First of all, they're way high PEs, and most of them are based on future earnings anyway and revenue and the various phase approvals. So, when that market talks about value and when we're coming down, they usually get hurt the most. Look at this. How about a move in 3 years that took this from 180 some odd down into the 60s, losing 2/3 of their value. Now the recent test tested the double bottom from May, June of 22 before the bounce. What the biotechs really need is the XPI over 72 with energy. And then you have a declining top line to deal with. So that zone is going to be tough to get through. Nevertheless, biotechs trail, semiconductors lead. Some more ETFs we follow. Oil has been coming down. And check out the USO, which has dropped from 83 and change down to 69 and a half. So a bit of a drop. We had the big run up, snap back, the kiss back, and then the hard rollover. You take out the recent lows, we're looking at 66, and I wouldn't shock me. Your CO looks the same. What about gas? Well, it's been coming down as well. Look at the KOLD, the bear ETF make a move off the low with triple bottom down around 44, moving up to over 60, and with the target now of 65.6. Where there's a triple top up there. But the declining top line may have been taken out this week, as this thing's now up for 6 days in a row with a gap here and a gap there. Very strong action. As a result, the SCO also has moved to, I'm sorry, the SCO's is, one sec. The SCO is the oil. I meant Boyle, which had gotten whacked, and UNG, both of which have really underperformed and gotten smacked. Well, obviously with the price of gas coming down pretty hard from a big rally. Okay, we're moving on to some more ETFs and gold. Folks, I don't know anyone who bothers with gold, but I will tell you this. After 5 waves down, we had a bounce to resistance. Look at that neckline. Look at the left shoulder, head, and right shoulder forming. If we can get gold to hold it right here on the GDX at 27, your next target is 30 and 33. But I need to see it reverse first with energy. So careful on gold and silver. Silver looks even worse, as you can see, but it is pulled back to this line. It needs to hold it there, maybe have a V bottom with a right-handed extension. The jury's still out. Some of the gold and silver stocks just don't look good here, period. And neither do the ETFs. Let's move on. We have a lot of stocks to cover. Starting with retailer American Eagle Outfitters. Look at this run. From 10 folks, nearly doubling, 18.75, and now flagging. The pattern I'm seeing here tells me this isn't done yet. Looking at the angle of ascent, I'm looking for this to extend up to 22.3. AI, well, everybody's watching this, but it isn't acting well. Neither is AEHR and a few others. Some of our market favorites, Carvana, etc., just are not performing yet. and they may not be the stocks of the next phase. We'll see. But if AI gets over 29.5, I'll change my mind. AMD, again, another example of the semiconductors leading. AMD with multiple waves down, and dropped back from 130 into the low 90s over a period of 5 months, has reversed it dramatically, taking up through the moving averages, through the right price resistance, extending from 93 to 119. This looks excellent for even more upside. There's a double top there at 130.31. Beyond that, we're looking at 155.60. AMRX, little junior drug manufacturer, went from literally a buck in March, $1.24, and got up to almost $5. And for the last 4 months, it's been going sideways, but lately it's been perky. Just keep your eyes on this one for a move over 460.65 with energy. Then you're looking at a $6, $7 stock. ANF, strongest retailer on the board, folks. Look at this chart. In a year, 15.75, the high 60s, and it doesn't look done yet. I can see 80 plus. APP, looking good, and over the last several weeks, it had come down in a channel but broke out and pulled back. Friday was a big day for it as they reversed from 38.80 to 44.06 and finished 43.68, up 4 or 10%. I like this look. Any further upside, particularly over Thursday's high, take out 45 and you might see 50.55. AUGX, strong little junior health information services company that I think, based on the pattern of the breakout and the consolidation, once you get through 6, you might see 6.75 and 7.5. AVPT, and I'm putting this on my list because after a long downtrend, a nice base, it broke out, and now it's been trending. The next target looks like 9.5. AXTA broke out with a breakaway gap through 3 moving averages, is now in a rising flag. Very bullish configuration. If it gets through 30, looking for 31.5 and 33.5. Biohaven, nice little rising channel, continues to press. A little flag is formed. There's your flag. As long as it maintains 26, I'm good. Upside is 33. BitTo, well, Bitcoin really came to the forefront. Let me show you something. This is the Bitcoin in US dollars. What a move of late. Just since October the 12th, when it was trading at 26 and change. On Thursday, we hit 38,000 even. That's a huge, almost 45% move in a couple of weeks on Bitcoin. And based on its momentum, we may see low 40s. So keep your eye on some of these Bitcoin-related stocks. Number one is I have alphabetically is BitTo, which I think sees 20, maybe 22 short term. Biotech BTAI has been popping of late after a big drop. And should we get to the recent high about 515.17, I would look for 6.5, 3/4, and then maybe more. CBay, beautiful chart. Multiple waves up. Reverse to Thursday. That's your stop underneath 14. The target is 18 and 22. Uranium stock CCJ, one of the biggest in the world, if not the biggest purveyor. It needs to get up through 43 to get going with a target of 48. Seco Environmental, beautiful chart. Broke out Friday. It actually broke out Tuesday and then followed through Friday for a new high. I wouldn't be shocked to see mid-20s. CLLS, well, check out this major gap in a 2-week or week and a half long pullback coil with narrowing volume, very quiet. A move here could get you right back up to 3, 3.25, and then maybe 4. COUR, really pretty educational training services stock that's gone from 10 to 20, almost 19.5. And now pull back, but the next target appears to be 23 if it gets out of this coil or wedge that it appears to be doing with that little pop on Friday. Koya, a stock that I've talked about a lot. It's very volatile, it's very thin, but take a look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little resistance levels at about 5, 30, 35. We get through that, I think 6 3/4, 8, and 9.5 all are potential. CWCO, this is consolidated water, a large 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the wave 4 coil that broke out. Friday was huge. Jumping from 30 to 36.70 is ending up 328 at 33.80. It's still a big day, and might have some extension to 40. Electronics, I've been showing you for the last year. It's basically gone from a spike down at 146 in December of last year to a breakout Friday about 10.5, 1042. You can see it appears to be coming out of this coil, and if it does, 13 is your target. DELL, well, Dell popped and flagged, and I put a swing on it, and then went sideways for a while. Broke out again. Now I think it's headed for 80. DraftKings also broke out. We put a swing on it. This one looks good. This little pullback looks very orderly and low volume with good technicals. I'm looking for more. 39.5, 44.5 targets. DRCT, huge day Friday. Breakaway gap, monster volume, 26.5 million shares and jumping $1.79 or 68%. That breaks it out over resistance as well. So now I'm looking for an extension to 5.5, 6.5. DRS and the aerospace group continues to pop flag, pop flag, pop flag, and pop the flag, and then it popped again. In any case, the trend indicates 22 as the target. Duolingo, we put a swing on it, it backed off, and then it ripped. Literally went from the pullback low of 140 to 217 in a couple weeks. My target was 230 to begin with anyway. I think we get there. EDU and the educational group, Chinese, very, very strong chart. Longer term pattern, triple digits, short term 78. Epics breaks out of a coil, spikes and pulls back and then breaks out again. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave target, 7.5. ETHE, another crypto related, long coil breakout, rising flag and spike. I think it might extend towards 20. FIGS, big pop 2 weeks ago, then a big drop, and then a reversal. But it did back off after the reversal. Still finished up 6%, but disappointingly, let's see if it can continue. I have it as a swing. Targets are 7, 8, and 8 3/4. FRO in the shipping group, very, very strong long-term channel from 6-7 range into the mid-20s. Recent high was 22.95. And now the pullback. My target, 26. FTI, FMC Technologies and Oil and Gas Group, very, very strong. Even with oil coming down, the stock is outstanding. And there's your long-term pattern that indicates 25.6 as the target. Another Bitcoin or crypto related is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Look at this thing go. Breaks out in the low 20s and runs now to 30. And my target is 35. Geo day trade or swing trade was put out here, it ran up and pulled back, and now it's working its way higher. I think resistance at about 958.60, but through that, I'm looking at an $11.5 to $12 stock in my opinion. HRTG, low price insurance company Heritage has gone from basically $1.20 to 7.5. Phenomenal move. And although it's pulling back in here, it may not be done. Target $8.99. IBRX exploded 2 weeks ago, 127 to 405 in about a week and a half. Now the pullback. But a big reversal Friday tells me it may not be done yet. Let's look for a retest of 4 and then maybe 5. DYA, one of my long-term biotech plays, looking really good. Broke out a week and a half ago, platform tested and that held well, 34 target. IMMX, nice base in this biotech stock, pulled back, tested the moving average and trend line. We popped the resistance, backed off and retested again, only to pop Friday. I like to look at this for a move to 6 and 7.5. INFN, big downtrend, breakaway gap, spiked up and pulled back, held the gap. Right there is now support. Your resistance is 4 1/4.5. Through that though, I'm looking for 5 1/4 and 6.5. Intel have been on for a while as it broke out here and pulled back and then broke out again, but it's choppy, very choppy. Nevertheless, improved quite a bit from March when it was trading at 25 to get up near 40. My targets remain 45 and now 52. KD, Kyndryl, double top breakout and a 2-day consolidation. Now looking for 19.5 and 22. Katos in the aerospace group, beautiful rising channel. It's taking it from 9, doubled it up towards 18, and you can see I was flagging it here. A breakout here gives me 20 and 22 as your next targets. LFMD was doing great until this week when it really got hit, but it hasn't broken yet. Nevertheless, under this first pullback low at 560.65 is my stopping point. Targets are 8 and 10. Leanne with a major breakaway gap on volume and then a run up on a tight flag. Let's call it a ascending bull coil and a tight one or pennant. Looking for 6. This could be interesting. Keep an eye on it. Logitech broke out, put a swing on it. It's moved from the mid 70s to the low 80s, where my first target was. Next target is 88. LSPD, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves down, and a breakaway gap and a big one through the 3 moving averages. Now this pattern, which tells me it's going to work its way higher. Target 16 3/4 and 18. METC in the coal sector exploded out of a flag Thursday and extended Friday to the first target at near 18. Secondary target, mid-20s. Great chart. Minnesota breaks out here and has been running for a year. And folks, it's gone from 5 to 30, 6-fold increase. Pull back down and you can see the coil. Retesting 30 is your next target, followed by 34. NEO, also another downtrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, breakout, retest. Moving averages cross over, stock breaks out. First, this pullback's a buying opportunity, in my opinion. 18 and 21 are targets. Nutanix, one of my old favorites. Breakaway gap, pullback, retest, popped out again, pullback, falling wedge, held the moving average and trend line, popped out, and then Friday was a big day for it. But I need to see this get over 39.5. If so, 42 and 44 are targets. Navitas Semiconductor, big downtrend, V bottom with a platform. Notice how it's held around the moving averages and bounced. Got to get to Friday's high above 660 in my opinion, and we go to 8 and 9. OLMA broke out a week and a half ago, and now it's consolidating. If it does move or extends, I should say, I think we can make a move into the low 20s. 20 is my target. Oscar, another long downtrend, breakaway gap, running gap, consolidation, target 8.5. PAY, long uptrend, a nice one, from 7 and change, more than double to 1724, and then this orderly pullback, falling wedge retrace, coil. And then it broke out and retested. I like the overall look of this, that if it gets to 17, you're looking at 21. Palantir, one of our swings, popped out and wedged and then broke out Friday with a big move of $1.31 or 7% on a mere 94.5 million shares. I think we're going to punch through resistance, make it up into the 23.4 range. Powell popped back here and pulled back, and I gave you a swing on it. Now, it's taken a long time, but it looks healthy as it's been up for 8 days in a row. However, I needed above 90 to get it really going, and then looking at 105, 110. PSN, Parsons, beautiful uptrend. It's gone from 30 to 63.4. Friday it popped that little flag, and now I think it's going to be in the mid to high 60s. Ramp with a big breakaway gap and a pullback. We put a swing on it. Let's see if it holds here. Target 40. Rover, big pop earlier in the week and a nice wedge, then a breakout on Friday. Target 9 or better. This is a good looking chart. Rhythm, finally after a long consolidation here, a coil, it broke out. and then punched through and pulled back, but Friday was a good day for it. My target is 35. SMCI, monster move this year. Literally went from the mid 30s tenfold, 357, and then pulled back down. It's been coiling for months now. Obviously, you don't want them to 17, 18, but my target is 310 zone. Spotify, note the pop to resistance and pull back from 175. Long-term trend is terrific. I think we're looking at 200 and then $250 stock. It's PR, breakaway gap, little mini pennant, pop. This is a island reversal to the upside. I'm now looking for high 20s and low 30s. This WBI broke out, we put a swing on it and we tested and popped. It's retesting again. I just don't want to see it under 13.5, be careful. Targets 15, 16, 17. TAL, a junior educator in China, strong chart. Should we get through this double triple top area, I would look for 12, 13. TAST broke out on Thursday, has a nice inside day Friday. Restaurant chain looks terrific. I'm looking for a fifth wave up to 11 3/4. TGTX, big pop and coil. I like this one. I put a swing on it. Watch for a pop above 11.5. Then we're looking at 15 and 19. TRMD in the oil and gas sector, beautiful rising channel and consolidation. Should it get over 31.65? I'm looking at 37. Taiwan Semi, another semiconductor that broke out, big day Friday. It's a jump 548 or 6%, 20 million traded. I'm now looking for a test of the double top area around 107.8. Uber breaking out to multi-year highs since, two and a half year highs. Now looking for a move to high 50s. UDMY, Udemy, big pop. And what looks like a rising wedge. Kind of a move often gives me much more. If it should have popped 13, we might see a big run. It takes it to 15, 16 for starters. UEC in the uranium group, steady as she goes. Next target, 7. UIS, big downtrend. Looks like a huge reversal with a breakaway gap. It did very well on Friday, but it didn't close well, although let's see. No, it closed fine. 431, that was up about 7.5% on Friday alone, so it looks like it's extending. If we can get up through Friday's high, we might see 5 and 6. Upwork popped out through the moving averages and consolidated, and now been up for 7, 8 days in a row. There's a triple top to get out through at 15.5. Then your target's going to be near 19. UUU broke out of a big core, folks, and has run up to targets. Next is 6.5 and 8. Baronis, beautiful rising pattern and at resistance. Should we get through here? 38 and 40 are short-term targets. BRT, a tech traded swing, pop, coiled, popped again, flagged, and you can see how it's been consolidating the big run that it had, but it looks higher, quite frankly. I'm projecting 50. VIX-X, nice surge last week and a breakout above the double top. I'm now looking for a test of 7.5 and 8.25. Big move on Vizio, I believe earnings related, and it was a nice pop, breaking it out across a big declining top line and setting it up for a move to 7 3/4. WRAP, this junior little puppy with a nice move off the low here, 126 to 320, nearly tripling, and then a pullback flag. I think it goes higher, 3 3/4, 4.5 and 5 all targets. US Steel, still believe it's a takeover coming up and maybe soon. I'm looking for 38.9. XPO Logistics, my favorite transportation company. What a great chart. After months of consolidation, it's breaking through. Your next target, low 90s. And finally, Zixi, long downtrend, multiple waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down and a retest, and then a breakout. I'm hearing 10, 11, 12, maybe doable, maybe even 13 or 14, but keep an eye on this one. It looks juicy to me. Let's look at some shorts and finish it up here. Not a long list. Let's start off with ACLS. Despite it being a semiconductor and a strong group, anytime the stock is that weak in a strong group, there's something to be concerned about. So it formed a rounding top, broke down, and formed a bear flag. Next target, 109. AMR. Well, it's a little, hang on one second. I didn't want to include that one this week. AN, there you go. AN broke this flag and snapped back to resistance. I don't think it's done yet. I'm looking for 120, 22. We break that, look out below. BDC, slam dunk, wedge, another one, and another wedge. 1, 2, 3, 4. May have one more wave down. It could take us down to, if we crack 59, wouldn't be shocked to see closer to 50, 52. The MEA has been on my list since it broke down from the bear flag back in July when it was 21. It's made it down to single digits at 8.5, and it wouldn't shock me at this point if it went all the way down in the 7 range. CHX, just put this on the list this weekend. This is a oil and gas head and shoulder top breakdown, rising wedge breakdown. I'm now looking for 25. Crocs continues to look bad to me. Until and if it takes out 91, I would stay short for a move to 70. DAR, darling, pretty ugly chart, folks. I don't know how far they take it, but let's look at a weekly. Well, you know what I mean? This is like a multi-year top. I wouldn't be shocked to see 29.30. DOX broke a top from the rising wedge. We said this is a short at 89. It made it down to 79, 78, and bounced. But to me, it's still within the confines of a declining channel. It looks like this. And if that's the case, we may be headed to 75. HCA topped, broke down, bear wedge, broke down and bounced. Don't know if it has more downside, but if it does, the target's 210. HUBS, head and shoulder top breakdown, and it's going to declining channel, says lower, with a target of 365. INTT Tech Trader swing short, came down, broke, bear wedge, bear flag, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a long 5th wave down. Let's start to cover down in the 10, 11 zone on this one. Las Vegas, head and shoulder top breakdown, a big bear flag's formed. Obviously, you don't stop it until it gets over 50, but the rollover target's 40.5. OMC topped out, breakaway gap, little bear flag, a large one. I'm targeting 63. Technoglass is in a downtrend, although it bounced recently, but the underlying technicals don't look good. I'll opt for a move to 26.5. Alta Salon, another bear flag, and cracks, we're looking at 340. And that's going to be it for today and for the weekend webinar, folks. You guys have a great weekend. Please review this list and this video for some ideas going forward and be prepared. You're going to need it. Next week's going to be wild and crazy. HP out. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you later.